Welcome to All Things Possible TV. I'm Kris Barney, and this is All Things Possible TV, as you know, and we have episodes every week on how you can do your life differently and little pieces that we can add in to make you successful in your life. This week's episode is on finding balance and moving forward. One of the things that I teach in my live events, as well as when we do our 7-step process and whatnot, is to find balance in your life, to find the things that are working, the things that aren't working, and how to move forward with those, and to be successful. So today I have, obviously, my board and a chart that we're going to go over in great detail. So if you don't have a pen and paper, I want you to get one, because this is something that you're going to want to remember and that you're going to want to reflect back onto. Because there are several things in our life that if we will find what's not working and we can find a different way to approach it, we will be more successful in our life. I love to do one-on-one communication with people, and I'd like to invite you to get in touch with me and receive a one-on-one free strategy session to where we can see what's holding you back, maybe where your balance is off, and the things that we can do. So hopefully you have gotten your paper and pencil now, but you can contact me through my website at www.allthingspossible.biz and set up an appointment so that we can go over things in your life. But today, I want to talk about a concept that is very dear and deep to me, and it's about balance. It's balancing our life, creating things to be different, and how that works. So I'm going to go over this chart in great detail with you, and hopefully you can see I had to write small to get it all to fit on here, but we're going to go over some of the things on here and how this happens. The first thing I want to bring your attention to is right here in the center where it says belief plus attitude plus action equals results. That is true, because what you believe and how you feel, right? So our feelings, our attitude, and what we take action on is what we have for our results. Now this can also be categorized as our success or our lifestyle. So our results can be completely measured back to what we believe, how we feel about it, and what action we take. So maybe you need to write feelings in here. Okay? So it's plus our feelings plus action, right? So our attitude about what we're doing. Okay, sometimes we're depressed, sometimes we're frustrated. We have a different attitude than other times. How successful are we when our attitude's not right? So it's the whole thing. It's our beliefs plus our attitude plus the action that we take that will give us the results that we want. And many times people want to do this with only using part of these pieces. And what I can tell you is using part of the pieces doesn't work, ever. You have to have all of them together. So we're going to watch this upward arrow goes at the top and this downward arrow goes at the bottom. And I want to explain those arrows to you right now. On the upward side, it starts out with what's uncomfortable in the beginning becomes comfortable as we hit that arc. So what's uncomfortable to begin with becomes comfortable. And on the bottom side, what's comfortable in the beginning becomes uncomfortable. So let's talk about that for a second. What's comfortable in the beginning that becomes uncomfortable later? What could that be? I want to go back and use some examples like not exercising. Let's say we're a couch potato. When we get home from work, we're tired, we've had a long day, lots of things have added up, and we're just comfortable at plopping down on the couch, watching something on TV, and kind of escaping life, right? But when that becomes uncomfortable is after it's over time. Now we sit on the couch all the time. There's no exercise routine. We've gained some weight. We're eating on the couch. We don't have great relationships. We're spending too much time there. It becomes uncomfortable. And at that point, it takes a lot more effort to correct the behavior, right? So what's comfortable in the beginning becomes uncomfortable. Okay, another example. What's comfortable in the beginning, let's take smoking. We start smoking a few times, and it gets comfortable in the beginning. Pretty soon we're smoking a lot, and what happens? It's comfortable, we enjoy it, it gives us our fix, whatever. It becomes uncomfortable. Our health is down the tube, we have this expensive habit, right? We can't be in a room very long until we need to take our escape and go out and do something different, right? Okay, and I'm not trying to just pick on smokers. What I want you to see is that our behavior, couch potatoes and smokers aren't the only thing where this plays a part. Look at what's comfortable in the beginning. As a parent, it's comfortable in the beginning to not discipline. To allow those kids are so cute. Oh, look how cute, right? And then all of a sudden we call it terrible twos or the fours. All of a sudden it's uncomfortable. All of a sudden the house has to be child-proofed, not the child is house-proofed. Now, I used to house-proof my kids because my house could be child-proof, but my mother's wouldn't be, or my friends might not be because they didn't have kids, right? So what was comfortable in the beginning for most people to let it go, oh, it's okay, here, I'll come correct the behavior, rather than don't touch meant don't touch. Okay, it's pretty, don't touch, is a lot different than I'm going to come take it from you and set it up high so you can't touch it. So you're not at choice, right? So what's comfortable in the beginning becomes uncomfortable. Okay, in the beginning, some of the things that they do are really cute and it's not that annoying until later when it's behavior that we want changed. Then it's really hard to change it back. So are you seeing the comparison that I'm using here? No matter what you're doing, if it is uncomfortable in the beginning, it can become comfortable. If it's too comfortable in the beginning and doesn't stretch you, it will become uncomfortable. So let's go to the upside of this. What's uncomfortable to begin with becomes comfortable. I'll use an example of exercise. It's uncomfortable to get up early. It's uncomfortable to have sore muscles. What happens once you've been in the routine, once you live that way, you love it. It's everything you ever wanted it to be. You can't not exercise. Getting up early becomes, wow, I can't sleep past this time. This is a great way to start my day. I take care of me, right? So what starts out as maybe uncomfortable or a little restricting becomes very comfortable over time. In our society, what I can tell you is that 5%, you see this 5% up here at the top? 5% of our society, 5% are willing to do what's uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable. Okay, 95%, and I didn't really even fill in this arrow down here for you like the top one, so I will. 95% of our society is totally happy with what's comfortable now and becomes uncomfortable. So, it's easy for me to show you examples of this because how many of us need to lose weight? How many of us want more business? How many of us want other things in our life? Okay, well, maybe some things were comfortable that became uncomfortable. What I can also tell you is that the 95% right here is considered failure. How many people feel like they're a failure? I can ask in a room of people during a live event, how many feel like a failure, and more than 95% of the hands will go up. In the upper 5%, this is considered successful. In the same seminar, I could ask, how many of you feel successful? And at best, we will have 5% of the room that will actually raise their hand. So this scale And this information is across the board. People feel like they're failing, yet they're comfortable in the beginning and get uncomfortable. This isn't what they want, yet it's what is happening. So let's talk about the 6 areas of our life. We need to be able to balance this. And to balance it, we need to focus in all areas. So I break it down into 6. You can find charts that break it into 8. You can find charts that break it into 5. I break it into 6. My 6 areas are, number 1, spiritual. However that is for you. That doesn't mean religion. It can incorporate religion, but it doesn't mean religious. It means spiritual. It means your connection to the earth, connection to a higher power. For me, that's God. Whatever that is for you, spiritual. Emotional, that's how you feel, how you believe, your value system, right? That deep feeling or connection. The next one is physical. That is not only exercise, but nutrition. How are you taking care of your body? Okay, that's nutrition and movement. Not just exercise, not just diet. It is our physical being. How are we taking care of that? Sometimes even in this category, it can include our physical needs, such as clothing, our homes. Okay, so we have to be careful how much, because this could be where we're putting a lot of our physical needs. Okay, it's more than just diet and exercise. The next one is business and financial. This is how you are financially, how you pay your bills, how things are functioning for you in a financial world. So the best way to give you extra emphasis is if it has anything to do with money, it's going to be in this category, right? If we're saving for a boat. Recreation is a huge category in itself. I feel like that recreation and social are huge, and we need to make sure that they fit in our lifestyle, but they also have to fit in the budget. And that's where sometimes we get off kilter, is that not everything fits in our budget, right? The next one is relationships. This is not just your personal family and your children or just a spouse. This is our social. This is also the people we work with, okay? It's our boss. It's our employees. It's every aspect of relationships that we have. And for the 6th one, I use time management. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to go against most people out there until I explain it, and then you might understand and be like, wow, that is true. But if you don't have time management involved in all other areas, you won't have all other areas. Time management is that critical. So many people don't think that's the truth, but let me give you a few things to think about. How many of you set aside time for a vacation? Somewhere in this life that we have, we schedule vacation, right? And if we had all day, I could explain how you could fit in vacations and what area I put them in and how they fit. I'm not going to do that right now. I want you to think about, do you schedule a vacation? Because if it's not scheduled, do you go? Now I have people go, well, we don't go on vacation. Well, that's because your time management's off, because you're not scheduling it. Okay? Time management can also include you didn't budget, you didn't spend the time to figure out how much to set aside to figure out how you can make that vacation fit, right? So time management has a lot to do with this. So let's go to relationships. Maybe you want to get married. Well, if you don't set aside time to date, you'll never get married. Maybe you want kids. If you don't set aside time to be able to have, when are we having a baby? When will I be off work? Will I ever go back to work? Am I a stay-at-home mom, or do I want to go back? There are all kinds of things to figure out. That all falls under time management. How we budget our time, what we put our priorities on. Physical. If you aren't in good physical shape, you have not made time for it. Period, end. You've got to make time for it or it won't happen. People tell me all the time, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to do this and I'm going to add this and that and the other, and then pretty soon they're going, well, I stayed up late and I didn't make time. I didn't make time. Exactly. Time management. comes down to scheduling ourselves, keeping to our schedule, and following through. Now, there's always times to change your schedule, put it in at a different time, try different things that work. And the same thing with like spiritual and everything else. If you don't make time for it, it won't happen. So many times people want me to like be nice and not say it like it really is. But what I can tell you is if you don't make time for it, it won't happen. Every aspect, if you don't make time, it's not going to happen. It's going to become something that's comfortable that becomes uncomfortable. So, we talked about the 5%. Do you know that in society, 5% of the population makes the most money? 95% of us don't. Okay? 5% of society is fit and in shape. 95% of us have somewhere to improve. 5% are financially set and don't even need to worry about the retirement because they're financially taken care of. They've done it. 95% haven't. It's the ratios. So what it comes down to is balancing all these areas in our life, finding what our beliefs, our attitude, what action we need to take to get the results we want. We need to find out what we have to do to create what we want in these areas. Okay? What I can tell you is it's easy to do this. Simple disciplines over time, made consistently, will create us to be successful. Amazing that that works, right? Simple disciplines made consistently over time. The last video that I made was about that little steps, the little steps that make us successful, right? Consistent behavior. My statement that I say a lot, you've heard it, is the little things that we do on a consistent basis that ultimately changes our life. This is the little steps. These little steps are going to be what changes your life. The easy not to do, it's really easy not to get off the couch and go do something else. It's easy not to start that extra load of laundry. It can wait. It's easy to procrastinate. But what if we found procrastination is horrible? In the end, you always have to play catch up. I told you last time about my reading. I procrastinated. I didn't make time for it. The yard work didn't fit in my 6 areas at all, okay? And so when I did make it fit, it made me hurt really bad. I had to pay a price, right? We have to pay a price no matter what we do. We pay the price. It's either a happy price that we receive from because we've done what we're supposed to do, or it can be a painful price. So that's just a little piece for you to think about. So this is simple errors in judgment over time. Okay, a simple error in judgment is procrastination. A simple error in judgment is not doing it when you first think of it. Okay, you've seen a video where Bill actually had this impression, my husband, my business partner, to put a blockage, to mark this metal that was sticking out. He had the feeling. It was easy not to do anything about it. Pretty soon, next thing you know, he walked straight into it, right? Painful, painful, painful. Cut his nose completely off. Had to glue it back on. Now that, I shouldn't laugh because it's not funny, but that's the kind of things that happen for us. Nothing's happened for a reason, so you can't prevent everything, and that we did see how he had called it forth before, what the lesson was during, and what the lesson is for after. We will be taught those lessons no matter what we're doing. If we need that lesson, we'll be taught it, and sometimes it's a painful process. So let's talk about what things are easy to do and what things are easy not to do. Okay? Let's find out how we can balance this easier. Okay, the things that make this easy to do up here are to have clarity. If you don't have clarity in what you want, you'll have a hard time achieving it, right? If we don't have clarity, which could also be considered goals, right? Okay, when we have clarity in our goals and we have outcomes that we want, okay, we have a plan. Goals are a plan. And we stick to our plan, right? So we have clarity, we set goals, and we make a plan. Also consider time management. I'll throw these in a lot. Okay, one of the things that's easy to do and that we get a lot from is happy, being happy, and energetic. Okay, when we're happy and energetic, we get more done. When we, get the sleep we need, we have more energy, we're able to do more. Okay, but when we are choosing to be happy and energetic, we do more. If we choose to let the depression really set in, what happens? We spend the day in bed, we don't get very much done, and things pile up and get worse. Okay, this area is driven. We need to be driven. When we can be driven, we can get more accomplished. When we're driven in our desires of what we want, that means our belief system is there. That means we have the right attitude. Our belief and our attitude and action will create our lifestyle, our results, and our success. When we are driven, we are successful. Usually, when we are driven, we are successful in all 6 areas, not just 1 or 2. How many of you know someone, not yourselves of course, but you know someone who's very successful in 1 or 2 of the areas and really lacking in the others? They might have great business and their financial is off the charts, but they're getting divorced and they're losing their family and all their relationships, right? So we have to balance all areas. It's not just about money. It's not just about relationships. It's about balancing all of it. Okay, couple things for the bottom. What happens is we get frustrated and overwhelmed. Most of the time, frustration and overwhelm set in when we are not prioritizing. Okay, so we procrastinate, we don't do things, and it gets worse and worse and worse. Pretty soon it explodes, right? And when it explodes into frustration and overwhelm. When really, if we would have been doing things all along the way and balancing our areas, we don't have that happen as often. But being comfortable in the beginning and becoming uncomfortable gets very frustrating, very overwhelming. Okay, this is when we're sad and we're tired. We're lonely. Okay, what are we not doing when we're sad, tired, and lonely? Okay, we're not having relationships. We're not having balance. We're not finding what we need in these areas. Maybe we're not managing our time. Okay, maybe we're just showing up to work, going home, getting through the motions, right? And really, when we do this, we hide. We hide a lot in this area. Most of the time, this is caused by blame. How many of us blame others? Blame's huge. Most people that are not being successful, it's someone else's fault. And if you don't believe me, ask them. There's always blame. There's blame into I didn't do it, it's not my fault, okay? And when there's blame, there's usually neglect. And it's never their fault. Okay, so when we start to blame, when we get accountable for ourselves and we start looking at, God, why is this happening? And we start finding that we're blaming others, good time to check on what's going on. The other thing down here that I want to add is lazy. Lazy is not what people want to hear, but it's what is there. It's we're unwilling to do more, do what it takes. Lazy equals unsuccessful. Every time lazy will equal unsuccessful. So if you want to look at how things are working for you or how they're not working for you, look and see if you've been willing to do what it takes. Did you put the effort in? Are you doing your part and some? Because to get up here, it's and some every time. The other thing that I didn't write up here is that it's valuable. Okay, it's valuable, and you find value in yourself as well as it's value driven. So when you can find what you believe in, your beliefs, which are your values, okay, that will help you be value driven. The people that find their value, their true value, and what they want in life can always be found in this upper level of they want to help others. They want to do for others. They want to go change the world. They're out there changing the world. They're coming up with ways to make things easier and different. They're going out of the country and doing things for other people. Those are the things that become valuable and value driven that will make us be in that top 5%. Do you know it's 5% of the people that are actually changing the world? What would happen if 95% of the world was really changing the world? What would really happen in our lives? How would our world really be? Our time's just about up, but I want for you to know that this chart is very important. You can go back to this and look at those 6 areas. What's working in your life? What's not working? How are you showing up for others? You know, sometimes it's really hard to take a good look in the mirror. And it can be really difficult. But it's when we're willing to do it that we can change. We can make adjustments. So hopefully you're in this top 5% and not in the 95%. Likelihood is you're somewhere in between. And I hope that this has helped you. I'm Kris with All Things Possible, and I want to invite you to go to my website. My website is www.allthingspossible.biz. Again, www.allthingspossible.biz. I have a 7-step program, 7 steps to create all things possible. This is just one of the little tiny things that we do in that program to move you forward, to help you in your life so that you have the success that you deserve. I love being able to help others and to be able to make a difference. This is something that, yeah, I have found in books, but I lived this. I lived so long in this that I know how to move to this. I don't want to live down here. I don't want to be down there because I can do so much more up here. So join me and let's help you get to where you're in the top 5%. You're making a difference. I am offering a free 30-minute strategy session. So get in touch with me, go on the website, go to contact us, send me an email, and let me know that you're interested in working with me and seeing what we can do to change your life. The next 7-step program that I have is combined with energy healing as well. We have a huge discount. It's almost 50% off at $997 for both to work with me and do the 7 steps as well as the energy healing sessions with Bill, which you've seen his energy sessions, you've seen the subconscious mind. There's a ton he can do for you. So jump on board, join us in improving your life and moving yourself to the next level. Join us again next week for our next episode and have a wonderful week. We love being here, we love serving, we love doing. And I hope that this has helped you find balance and move forward in your life in all these areas. Have a great week and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.